Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we're taking a look at this knife here. This is the Kubey Flash. I believe the number is 158, but we're not going to worry about numbers right now. So, this is a pretty cool knife. I've had this knife for a long time. In fact, I bought this knife when I was first kind of starting out in the EDC community, kind of looking at what I wanted in a pocket knife, and this was one of the ones I got. D2 blade steel, G10, a flipper on bearings, and I thought this would be a good start, and it's a pretty neat knife. I have a lot to say about it. So let's go ahead and jump in with some size comparisons. Let's start off with our usuals. Here is the Rat Model 2. And the 1. So what we can see here is that this is a big knife. It is, well, about Rat 1 size. Whoops. The blade is a little bit differently shaped, so it's a little bit hard to tell, but it's about Rat 1 size. So definitely not a small knife. Alright, let's bring out our Civivis, the Elementum, the Praxis. Yeah, it's a not a small knife. And I want to point out right now, it's also not a thin knife. He's pretty chunky. Here he is against our Benchmade bug out. And the PM2. And let's get things wrapped up here with our Gerber paraframes. Yeah, there we go. And real quick, actually, I just want to compare it against some other Kubeys I reviewed on the channel. Get this one out of the zipper pouch. Haven't reviewed all that many Kubeys, actually. Here's the KU200. And here's the Raven, which is a longer knife. So that's pretty cool. Kubey is a company that I actually like quite a bit, and I'm honestly surprised I don't have more stuff from them. Anyways, let's get a measurement here. Yeah, I'm going to call that 3.8 inches. So, nice long blade. See, handle length of 4.5 inches. Not a small knife at all. As I already mentioned, D2 blade steel, G10 handles, steel liner lock, steel clip, running on bearings. This blade here, we've got a nice clip point. And let's go ahead and go cut some stuff, shall we? We'll be right back. Alright, so let's cut up this big piece of cardboard with our Kubey Flash. So as I already mentioned, we've got a nice clip point blade here. Very useful. The ergos on this knife don't necessarily look like it, but they are very comfortable. We also have a pretty thin edge. So let's go ahead and get started. I might need to sharpen this guy up a little bit. What do you guys think? Oh well, he'll be alright for this video. So like I said, the ergos are very nice, especially for powerful cuts like that. I have a little bit of jimping up here that's not very sharp, but it's pretty functional. The handle really does just kind of fit my hand, at least. Do have a problem off the clip. We'll talk about the clip more here in a little bit. But yeah, just a very nice blade. Very useful, very slicey. Got a good tip on here. Very good blade. All right, let's talk about the action. It is so smooth. The flipper tab is also shaped really well. See how it kind of hooks up, grabs your finger. Very hard to fail this knife. And man, is it smooth. How does it carry? Well, it is a little bit chunky, which helps for the ergonomics. The ergonomics are great because it's this chunky. So in the pocket, you're going to feel it. But the biggest problem with this knife in terms of carry is this clip. This is not a good clip at all. Did you hear that going in the pocket, that snap? You really do have to jam a knife before it goes into your pocket. Once it's in the pocket, there's not a whole lot sticking up. It's not terrible. But yeah, that clip is definitely not the prettiest or most useful clip in the world. Access to the liner is really good. Very comfortable. Very accessible. Yeah, let's go back to the table and get more in depth. All right, so let's get into this guy a little more in detail. Let's start out with what I like. First of all, this is a pretty good design. I like the way this knife looks. This does stand out quite a bit. So that's always cool. Next thing I like is the blade. This is a really good blade. This shape in general is just very useful. In fact, this blade shape really kind of reminds me of the Bestech Horus. I'm not saying that it's a copy, but yeah, pretty similar. So it's a blade shape that I really like. This clip point, you've got a good amount of belly here. Really nice tip. Very acute. Nice and thin behind the edge. And yeah, just really good. And yeah, the finish is pretty nice as well with the satin and the black. You can get these knives in a bunch of different variants, including some higher end versions. As far as the low end versions go, I think, well, obviously there's this one. I think there's a green one, and then there's a tan and black one. So that's cool. Next thing, the G10 handles here are pretty nice, actually. So what you can see here is they've got like 2 layers of G10 kind of sandwiched and then, you know, milled and sanded down. And what we can see, focus, is that the transition between the two is really nice. It's very smooth. And these provide a good amount of traction without being overly coarse. So that's awesome. Next thing, we have a almost full backspacer. I like seeing these. These are just kind of neat. You have some texturing milled in back here. That's pretty cool. The lanyard hole is part of the backspacer. And it's a good lanyard hole. You can see it's like sunk into the scales. So if you have string in there, it will go more flush with the handle. That's cool. Next thing, access to the liner is very nice. You can see they've cut away enough and they've chamfered the lock itself. So you can get in there and get it out. Pretty easy. Perfectly centered. Let's see if we can show that off. There we go. So came really nice from the factory. The next thing I gotta talk about is the action. It rockets out. That flipper tab is a lot of the reason why it fires so good. This flipper tab that's in line with the pivot and it goes up, so it hooks your finger, gives you a lot of leverage, and man, it just fires. And look at that drop. And that's running dry. Very nice. Very, very nice action. So that's awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is the ergonomics. Yeah, the ergonomics on this guy are really, really nice. And you might not think that they'd be really good just by looking at it, but once you grab it, yeah, here, very comfortable. The finger or the flipper tab forms a nice finger guard. I feel like I'm plenty close to the edge. The edge comes nice and close to the handle, so you can get a lot of power into your cuts, do stuff like this. Just really comfortable. The jimping up here is good. It's functional, and yeah, I really like the way this guy feels in hand. It's very, very nice. So, what do I not like? So to start off with the bad stuff, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The clip. Yeah, that's an ugly, ugly clip, isn't it? It looks hideous, and it doesn't work very well. It's very tight, and as you can see, this part down here is really narrow, which means that the part that's connecting with your pocket is very small. So it's more like instead of like gripping on, it's more like just stabbing itself on there. So it can make getting in and out of the pocket pretty difficult. It's not the best clip. This needs to not be here. So yeah. Next thing, taking this guy apart is not going to be fun. The pivot is free spinning, so be warned. Next thing I want to talk about, actually, is the fact that when I first got this knife, so it came in a little Kubey box, and it came in a bag, and I pulled it out of the bag, and there was all kinds of dirt and rocks and stuff in the bag with this knife. I got my cousin one of these too, and when he opened his, it wasn't like that. But when I got this knife, I had to clean him out very, very thoroughly. I don't know what the heck was with all the dirt and rocks in the bag with him, but it was weird. So yeah. And honestly, that's as far as my complaints go, because the price on this knife is about $30. And so, yeah, for $30, this is a really good knife. Yeah, the clip is terrible. Disassembly is not easy. And I don't think many people have problems with the rocks in a bag like I did, because like I said, my cousins did not come like that. But, yeah. Another thing I want to point out is when I got this knife, it was just a Kubey KU-158. Kubey has been going back and naming a lot of their models, which, good job, Kubey. Thank you. That's a great idea. I hate knives that are just numbers. So, thank you, Kubey. And so, yeah, this went from the Kubey KU-158 to the Kubey Flash. Although it's still the 158, you know, because of model numbers. But, yeah, that's awesome. I'm a big fan of that. Another thing that I'm a big fan of is that you can get this knife in a bunch of different variations. Not just different colors in the budget area, but you can get this knife. Kubey sells a $200 version of this knife with M390 and titanium scales that you can get. And even that one comes with a bunch of different colors of anodization on the titanium. So there are a lot of options with this knife, and that's great to see. Because, heck, if you get the $30 one, you're like, oh, I really like this knife. I just wish it was, I wish it was a titanium frame lock. Well, guess what? Kubey's got you covered, and you can go and buy one from them. And that's pretty awesome. So, the best places to get Kubeys are either straight from Kubey or Amazon, or White Mountain Knives carries. I believe I've seen this one out on White Mountain Knives, so go ahead and check them out. I don't have any affiliate programs with any of them, obviously, but go check them out if you want this knife. As for my personal opinions, yeah, I like this knife quite a bit. Heck, I like this knife enough to have given it as a gift to someone who I like. So, obviously, this knife gets a seal of approval from me. I do really like this knife. As far as, inexpensive D2 flippers go, this one is really, really nice. Great action. I mean, oh my gosh, this action. It's just so good. Oh, the action's amazing. As far as utility goes, the ergos are really nice. The blade is very nice. And yeah, the pocket clip is the biggest weakness of this knife. But as you can see here, it's just got these 2 screws. I'm sure an aftermarket clip. If you really want an aftermarket clip, it won't be hard to find. I might get an aftermarket clip for this guy. We'll see. But yeah, I can recommend this knife all day, every day. It's big. I should mention that on the downsides. It's a big knife, so it might not be legal everywhere, or it just might not be something you want to carry. But it's a good, solid knife. I would definitely recommend it. I like it a lot. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. Again, if you like this knife, you know where to get it. If you like this video, go ahead and leave it a like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. I've been Gideon Stuff. I'll see you in the next one.